Let me tell you something. When you stop texting, when you stop calling, a man will react. Oh, he will react. See, you think he ain't paying attention, but trust me, he feels that silence. Now, at first he might act like he don't care. He'll go about his day, brush it off, tell himself she'll be back. But the moment he realizes you ain't coming back, that's when it hits him. He'll check his phone over and over, scroll through old messages, wonder where it all went wrong. He'll convince himself he's good until he's not. Because here's the truth, a man only values what he thinks he can lose. And when that reality sets in, oh, now you got his attention. Some will chase, some will shut down, some will even play games just to see if they can pull you back in. But if a man truly cares, if he truly wants you in his life, he won't just react, he will respond. And there's a difference. Reaction? That's impulse, that's ego, that's panic. Response? That's effort, that's realization. That's a man stepping up. So if you're pulling back to test him, to make a point, to see if he notices, just know he does. And his reaction will tell you everything you need to know about where he stands. Silence. It's a powerful thing. More powerful than words, more powerful than arguments, more powerful than explanations. See, when a woman stops texting and calling, she's not just taking a break, she's shifting the energy. And a man, oh, he feels that, even if he doesn't show it, even if he pretends not to notice. The absence of attention, the sudden stillness where there was once constant communication, it creates a void. And a void is never ignored. It's always felt. At first, he might brush it off, act like it doesn't matter. He'll tell himself you're just busy, or maybe you're in one of your moods. He'll make excuses, convincing himself that this silence is temporary, that soon enough, your name will light up his screen again. But as the hours pass, then the days, something inside him shifts. The normal rhythm of his life feels off. Something is missing. And that something is you. A man may not always express his emotions the way a woman does. He may not come right out and say, I miss her. But the signs are there. He checks his phone more often out of habit, expecting to see your message pop up. When it doesn't, he refreshes, just in case. Then he scrolls through your old conversations, reading, rereading, trying to fill the space with memories. And that's when he starts wondering, why did she stop? What changed? Is she pulling away, or is she gone for good? And let me tell you something, uncertainty eats at a man. He's used to knowing. He's used to control. He's used to you being there. But when you go quiet, when you stop reaching out, that certainty crumbles. Now he's left in the unknown, questioning everything. Did he say something wrong? Did he take you for granted? Is there someone else? The thoughts come in waves, and the more he tries to push them away, the louder they get. Now, depending on the kind of man he is, his reaction will vary. Some men will act like it's nothing, put on a front, keep moving like they're unaffected. But make no mistake, on the inside, they feel it. Others will try to distract themselves, go out more, talk to other people, bury themselves in work, anything to avoid dealing with the discomfort of your absence. And then there are the ones who realize, the ones who sit with that silence, let it sink in, and understand that something needs to change. But here's the real truth, whether he admits it or not, whether he acts on it or not, whether he chases you or lets you walk away, a man will always feel the silence. Because when a woman who was once consistent suddenly disappears, it creates a shift. And men don't deal well with shifts. They crave stability. Even the ones who take you for granted. Oh, especially them. Because they never thought the day would come when you'd stop trying. So don't ever think that your silence goes unnoticed. Don't ever think that pulling back means nothing. It means everything. It's a mirror, a test, a wake-up call. And a man's response to that silence will tell you everything you need to know about where you truly stand in his life. The first thing you need to understand about men is that they are wired to mask their emotions. From a young age, they're taught to be tough, to be in control, to never let anyone see them sweat. So when you stop texting and calling, when your presence suddenly disappears from his daily routine, his first reaction, oh, he's going to act like he doesn't care. He'll tell himself it's no big deal. He'll go about his day as if nothing has changed. He might even convince himself that he's the one in control here, that you will come back first. To the outside world, he's unbothered. He's still laughing with his friends, still posting like everything is normal, still carrying himself like you were just another woman passing through his life. If someone asked him about you, he'd probably shrug, act indifferent, say something like she's probably just busy. But inside, inside, the gears are already turning. He notices the silence, even if he won't admit it. He notices the missing good morning texts, the late night conversations that no longer happen. And whether he realizes it or not, a small seed of doubt has been planted. See, a man's ego is a funny thing. At first, it shields him. It tells him you don't need her. You're fine. It allows him to push away any feelings of loss, to convince himself that he's unaffected. But that's just the surface. That's just his pride talking. And pride, it's a temporary defense, not a permanent solution. Because pride can't fill the space where you used to be. Pride can't replace the comfort, the attention, the effort you used to give. And soon enough, he starts to realize something is missing. Maybe it happens when he's lying in bed at night, scrolling through his phone, seeing your name, but no new messages. Maybe it hits him when he hears a song that reminds him of you, or when he finds himself instinctively opening your chat, only to remember, oh yeah, she's not talking to me anymore. Maybe it's when he's out with his friends, and for the first time, the conversations don't feel as exciting. The laughs don't hit the same, because in the back of his mind, there's this nagging thought, why hasn't she reached out? At this point, he's still not ready to admit anything. He'll make excuses. She's probably just testing me. She's probably waiting for me to text first. She'll come around. And because he expects you to come back, he doesn't move just yet. He waits. He waits for your message to pop up, for you to check in, for you to break the silence first. And when you don't, that's when the first crack appears in his confidence. Now, some men will double down. They'll tell themselves, fine, she's not texting me. I won't text her either. They'll try to play the game, to act like they can win at this silent standoff. But deep down, they feel it. Oh, they feel it. Because the moment a woman stops giving her attention, the moment she removes herself from a man's world, she forces him to question where he really stands. And that is a very uncomfortable feeling for a man who thought he had you figured out. But remember, in the beginning, he'll act like it's nothing. He'll act like he's in control. He'll act like he doesn't care. The key word here, act. Because the real reaction, that comes later. When the silence doesn't break. When the reality starts to sink in. When he realizes maybe you're not coming back after all. At first, he convinced himself that it was nothing. He told himself that you were just busy, that you were taking a break, that soon enough you'd text him like you always did. But as the hours turn into days and the days stretch into a week or more, something starts to shift. That confidence, it starts to crack. That pride, it starts to feel a little heavier. And then slowly but surely, reality begins to set in. He's losing you. And not just in some casual, temporary way. No, this feels different. This silence isn't a pause, it's a shift. And that shift, it hits hard. It doesn't happen all at once. At first, it's just a small feeling, a little doubt creeping in, a little unease that he pushes away. Maybe he checks his phone a little more often. Maybe he finds himself thinking about you in the middle of the day, wondering what you're doing, wondering why he hasn't heard from you. But still, he fights it. She's just playing games. She'll reach out soon. That's what he tells himself. But then something happens that makes him question everything. Maybe it's when he sees you online, but you don't message him. Maybe it's when he notices you've been posting, living your life, smiling, looking unbothered. Maybe it's when he realizes that the routine you once had, the constant communication, the checking in, the good mornings and good nights, is officially broken. And now there's a new thought forming in his mind. A thought that he doesn't like. A thought that makes his stomach drop. What if she's actually done? That thought is dangerous. Because now it's no longer just about his pride. Now it's about something deeper, his sense of security. You see, men don't usually process loss right away. They don't immediately connect the dots and understand what's happening. But once they do, once they realize that the thing they took for granted is slipping away, That's when the panic sets in. That's when they start to feel the weight of what they've ignored. And suddenly this silence that he thought was a game, it's not a game anymore. It's real. Now, depending on the kind of man he is, his reaction will take different forms. Some will try to suppress it, act like it's still nothing, tell themselves they'll just replace you with someone else. But deep down, they know it's not that simple. Because connection, real connection, that's not something you just replace overnight. Others will start testing the waters, sending a casual message, hey, how have you been? Just to see if the door is still open. And then there are the ones who really feel it. The ones who sit in that silence and realize they messed up. It's in these quiet moments, when there's no distraction, when there's no back and forth conversation to keep his mind occupied, that he starts thinking about everything. He starts replaying your last conversations, wondering if there were signs that he missed. He starts remembering the things you used to do for him, the way you always checked in, the way you made him feel wanted, the way you cared. And now that care is gone. And the worst part, it's his fault. The realization of losing you isn't just about missing your presence, it's about understanding what your absence really means. It means he wasn't paying attention when he should have. It means he thought he had all the time in the world, only to realize that time was running out. And now, he has to face the truth that he never wanted to admit. Losing you wasn't just a possibility, it's happening. And unless he does something about it, you're not coming back. At first, he doesn't think much about it. He tells himself that you're just busy, that you'll reach out when you're ready. But as the silence stretches on, he finds himself checking his phone more often. He opens it without thinking, only to see that there are no new messages from you. He puts it down, goes about his day, but moments later he's back at it again, scrolling, refreshing, checking. It's almost automatic now. Every notification makes his heart jump for just a second, but when he sees it's not you, that disappointment, it starts to hit a little harder each time. At first, he tries to distract himself. He talks to friends, he scrolls through social media, maybe he even texts other people just to fill the space. But it doesn't work, because no matter how many conversations he starts, none of them feel the same. None of them give him that feeling of connection, that sense of familiarity. And that's when he does it, he starts going back to your old messages. He's not even sure why. Maybe it's out of habit, maybe it's curiosity. Maybe it's just a way to remind himself that what you had was real. But once he starts scrolling, he doesn't stop. He reads the messages slowly, replaying them in his mind. The late night talks, the inside jokes, the times you checked in on him, just because. He sees the effort you put in, the energy, the attention. And now, with fresh eyes, he starts noticing things he overlooked before. The way you used to double text when he didn't respond fast enough. The way you always asked how his day was, even when he never bothered to ask you back. The way you carried the conversation, kept the connection alive, made sure he always felt seen. And now that presence is gone, and it feels different. He finds himself reading deeper into things. He overanalyzes the last messages you sent. Was there a hint that you were pulling away? Did he miss a sign? He looks at his own responses too, and suddenly the things that seemed small before don't feel so small anymore. The times he left you unread, the short, dry replies when you were trying to have a conversation, the times he brushed you off because he assumed you'd always be there, always reaching out, always caring. Regret starts creeping in. He wonders if he should have responded differently, if he should put in more effort, if he should have told you how much he actually enjoyed talking to you instead of acting indifferent. Because now, as he stares at the screen, as he scrolls through those past conversations, he realizes something. This is all he has left of you right now. Words on a screen, memories trapped in text bubbles. And no matter how many times he reads them, no matter how much he wishes he could go back and change things, the truth is, the messages aren't changing. They aren't moving forward, and neither is the connection. The silence that once felt like a game now feels like a wall that he doesn't know how to break down. He hesitates to text you. He types something out, then deletes it. He doesn't want to seem too eager, doesn't want to admit that he's been thinking about you. But the more he holds back, the more that frustration builds inside of him. Because deep down, he knows if he's still checking his phone, if he's still reading through old messages, if he's still stuck in the past while you're moving forward, then maybe, just maybe, he's the one losing this game. A man can go through life believing he has all the time in the world. He assumes that the people who care about him today will still be there tomorrow. He believes that if someone loves him, they'll always love him no matter how little effort he puts in, no matter how much he takes them for granted. It's not that he's ungrateful. It's not even that he doesn't care. It's that he doesn't think about losing what he has until that possibility becomes real, until he feels the absence, until the presence he once overlooked is no longer there. See, when a woman is consistent, when she calls, texts, checks in, and shows up for him day after day, he grows accustomed to it. He starts to believe that this is just how things are, how they will always be. He doesn't stop to ask himself, what if one day she stops? What if one day she decides she's done? That thought never crosses his mind because in his world, you've always been there. The attention, the effort, the emotional investment, it was a given. It was expected. And that's where the problem begins. The problem is that comfort breeds complacency. And when a man becomes too comfortable, he stops putting in effort. He stops appreciating what he has. He starts assuming that no matter how much he ignores your texts, no matter how little he reciprocates, you'll still be there. Because you always have been. And it's not that he means to neglect you. It's just that he's never had to consider life without you. But the moment you stop, the moment you take away the energy he got so used to, that's when it hits him. Now, he's forced to sit with the reality of what he once had. And let me tell you, there's nothing more uncomfortable for a man than realizing he took something valuable for granted. He starts thinking about all the times he brushed you off, all the moments he didn't fully appreciate. He starts remembering the way you always showed up for him, the way you cared, the way you made sure he felt important. And now, for the first time, he has to ask himself, was she always going to be there? Or did I just assume she would be? And here's the truth. A man doesn't truly value something until he feels like he's about to lose it. That's just human nature. It's easy to overlook what's readily available, but take it away? Remove the comfort, introduce uncertainty. That's when everything changes. That's when the mind starts racing, the emotions start stirring, and suddenly he sees you in a completely different light. Not as a guarantee, not as someone who will always be there, but as someone who had a choice, and someone who just might have made the choice to walk away. Some men, when they reach this point, will try to convince themselves that they still have control, that you'll come back eventually, that the space you created is temporary. But deep down, there's that gnawing feeling, that whisper of doubt reminding them, what if she doesn't? What if this time she really means it? What if, after all this time, she's finally realized that she deserves more? And that question, that question changes everything. Because now he has to make a decision. Does he let you go and risk losing something he never fully appreciated? Or does he step up and prove that he values you not because he's afraid of losing you, but because he finally sees your worth? One thing is for certain, when a man realizes that what he once took for granted is slipping away, he will feel it. And whether he admits it or not, whether he acts on it or stays silent, that realization will sit with him in a way he never expected. A man's ego is his strongest armor, but it's also his biggest weakness. When you stop texting and calling, his first instinct isn't to chase after you, it's to protect his pride. He doesn't want to admit, not even to himself, that he's affected by your silence. He doesn't want to believe that you pulling away has any kind of control over his emotions. So instead of reaching out, instead of acknowledging that he misses you, he tells himself a different story. She's probably just busy. She'll come back when she's ready. I'm not going to be the one to break first. This mindset, it's not just about you. It's about how he sees himself. To him, reaching out first feels like losing, like surrendering control, like giving you the upper hand in a game he never even realized he was playing until now. So he resists. He holds back. He pretends he's fine, even when he's checking his phone more times than he'd ever admit. He fights the urge to type out a message, to check in, to ask if everything is okay. Because doing that, it would mean admitting that your absence is affecting him. And for a man ruled by his ego, that is the hardest thing to accept. But here's the truth: his silence isn't a sign that he doesn't care. It's proof that he does. If he truly didn't care, there would be no inner battle, no hesitation, no overthinking. He wouldn't have to force himself not to reach out. He wouldn't have to convince himself that ignoring you is the right move. A man who feels nothing doesn't struggle with pride, but a man who feels, a man who is actually affected by your absence, he fights with himself, not because he doesn't want to talk to you, but because he does. As time passes, that internal struggle grows stronger. At first, he's confident, sure that you'll come back first, that you'll break the silence, that he doesn't have to do anything. But as the days go on and his phone stays quiet, doubt begins to creep in. What if you're not waiting for him to reach out? What if you've actually moved on? What if, instead of playing a game, you've simply decided that his effort or lack thereof isn't enough for you anymore? And that thought, that's the one that makes his chest tighten. At this stage, he might try to distract himself. He'll throw himself into work, hang out with his friends, maybe even talk to other women, anything to push away the nagging feeling that something is missing. But distractions only work for so long, because no matter what he does, at some point he's alone with his thoughts, alone with the realization that the person he expected to always be there isn't. And that's when his ego starts to crack. That's when the act starts to feel exhausting. That's when the silence becomes too loud to ignore. Now, here's where things get interesting. Some men will let their ego win. They'll sit in that discomfort, refusing to make the first move, even if it means losing someone they actually care about. They'd rather protect their pride than take the risk of being vulnerable. But others will reach a breaking point. They'll get tired of the silence, tired of wondering what you're thinking, tired of pretending they don't care when, in reality, it's all they can think about. And when that moment comes, when his ego can no longer hold him back, when he realizes that staying silent might cost him something real, that's when he'll reach out. That's when he'll send that text, make that call, find some excuse to break the silence. Not because he wanted to play a game, not because he planned to wait this long, but because he finally understands letting his ego control him won't bring you back. And the longer he waits, the higher the risk that when he finally does reach out, it might be too late. At first, he doesn't believe it. He assumes you're just taking space, playing hard to get, or trying to teach him a lesson. He tells himself that this is temporary, that any day now you'll reach out like you always did. But as time passes and the silence continues, doubt begins to creep in. A question starts forming in his mind, a question that he doesn't want to ask, but can't seem to shake. What if she's actually moved on? That thought, oh, it messes with him. Because up until now, he's convinced himself that you are always going to be there. That no matter how distant he became, no matter how little effort he put in, you would still be waiting for him. But now, for the first time, he has to consider the possibility that you're done waiting, that you've decided he's not worth the stress, that you've chosen to focus on yourself, or worse, that you found someone else. He starts looking for signs. He checks your social media, scrolling through your posts, analyzing every little detail. Are you out more? Are you dressing differently? You seem happier. Have you posted a picture with someone new? Every time he sees you smiling, every time he sees you living your life without him, a wave of anxiety rushes through him. Because in his mind, you're not supposed to be okay without him. You're supposed to be missing him, hurting, waiting for him to come back. But instead, you're glowing, thriving, moving forward. And that realization, oh, it stings. At first, he tries to brush it off. He tells himself that what he sees online doesn't mean anything, that you're probably just putting on a show, trying to make him jealous, trying to prove a point. But deep down, he knows better. He knows that if you've really stopped texting, stopped calling, stopped reaching out altogether, then something has changed. And that change, it terrifies him. Because now he's no longer in control of the situation. Now the power has shifted. The worst part? He doesn't know where he stands with you anymore. He used to be so sure of your feelings. He used to know, without a doubt, that you cared. That no matter how distant he became, he could always come back, and you would be there. But now, he's uncertain. Now, he wonders if you still think about him, if you still check phone for his messages, if you still care at all. And that uncertainty eats at him. Because for the first time, he's the one left guessing. That's when the regret really sets in. That's when he starts replaying every moment in his mind, searching for the exact point where he went wrong. Was it the times he ignored your texts? The times he acted indifferent? The times he assumed you would always be there, no matter how little effort he put in? And now, with nothing but silence surrounding him, he has to face a truth he never wanted to acknowledge. He took you for granted, and he might have just lost you for good. So now he's at a crossroads. He can either let his pride keep him from reaching out, hoping you'll be the one to break the silence first, or he can swallow his ego and make a move before it's too late. But one thing is certain, he's no longer as confident as he once was, because the moment he started wondering if you've moved on, that's the moment he realized he wasn't as ready to lose you as he thought he was. At first, he waits. He tells himself that you'll text first, that you'll come back when you're ready, that this silence is just temporary. He reassures himself that you miss him just as much as he misses you, that you're just testing him, that all he has to do is stay patient, stay strong, and you'll come running back. But as the days pass, as the silence lingers, that confidence starts to crack. The longer you stay quiet, the more he realizes that this isn't a test, it's a shift in power, a shift in dynamics, a shift in you. At first, he tries to fight the urge to reach out. His pride won't let him be the first to break. He convinces himself that if he waits long enough, you'll eventually cave. But with each passing day, that certainty fades. What if you're not coming back? What if this isn't just a phase? What if for the first time he's the one being left behind? The thought lingers in his mind, growing louder, heavier, more impossible to ignore. And that's when the anxiety sets in. That's when his silence, the same silence he thought would make you chase him, starts to feel suffocating. He starts making excuses to check in. Maybe he watches your stories hoping you'll notice. Maybe he accidentally likes an old photo just to see if you'll react. Maybe he asks a mutual friend about you, pretending it's just casual curiosity. But deep down, he knows exactly what he's doing. He's searching for a sign that you still care, a sign that you still think about him, a sign that you haven't completely moved on. And when he doesn't find it, when you continue to live your life as if he's no longer a factor, that's when he starts to panic. At this point, his ego is at war with his emotions. One side tells him to stay strong, to keep waiting, to let you come to him. But the other side, the side that's losing sleep, the side that's checking his phone every few minutes, the side that replays old conversations in his mind, that side is screaming at him to do something, to reach out, to break the silence, to stop pretending he doesn't care when in reality, it's all he can think about. And then it happens. He cracks. Maybe it's a late night text, short, casual, pretending like it's no big deal. Maybe it's a call disguised as a mistake or a pocket dial. Maybe he doesn't even try to be subtle. Maybe he finally admits that he misses you, that he's been thinking about you, that he doesn't like the way things are right now. However it happens, one thing is certain, he will make a move. Because silence. Oh, silence is powerful. And when a man sits in it long enough, when he starts to feel the weight of what he might be losing, he will feel the need to break it. The moment he reaches out, it's not just about reconnecting, it's about regaining control. He wants to know where you stand. He wants to know if you still care. He wants to know if you're still his in some way. Because deep down, what terrifies him more than anything isn't just the silence itself, it's what that silence represents. The possibility that you've moved on. The possibility that you don't need him anymore. The possibility that he waited too long. And now the choice is no longer his. It's yours. Because when you stop texting and calling, when you stay silent long enough, when you show him that you're no longer waiting, that's when he realizes he's the one who has something to lose. And now, the power is in your hands. See, when you stop texting, when you stop calling, when you remove your energy, You shift the dynamic. You show him that you are not someone who waits around for bare minimum effort. You show him that your time, your love, your presence, it's a privilege, not a guarantee. And the moment he realizes that, the moment he understands that you are not sitting by the phone, waiting on him to decide when you matter, that's the moment everything changes. Because a man only truly values what he believes he could lose. And when you take a step back, when you create distance, when you show him that you are perfectly fine on your own, that's when he starts to feel the weight of your absence. That's when he starts to question himself. That's when he starts to understand that you were the prize all along. Now, when he finally reaches out, when he finally makes that move, the real question is, what do you want? Because it's not just about if he comes back, it's about how he comes back. Does he return with real effort, with changed behavior, with a new appreciation for you? Or is he just checking to see if you're still there, still waiting, still willing to accept the same old patterns? And that's where your power lies. Because you don't have to accept breadcrumbs. You don't have to settle for inconsistency. You don't have to go back to something that didn't serve you. You get to decide. So remember this, you are the prize. Your time, your love, your energy, it is valuable. And any man who truly sees your worth, he won't need to lose you to appreciate you. He'll show up consistently, willingly, and with effort. And if he doesn't, well, then you already have your answer. Because a real man won't risk losing a woman who knows her worth. And the moment you realize that, oh, that's the moment you win.